All right, welcome to the Noble Insights podcast. I'm the host, Josh Brammer, and today I'm really grateful for this guest I have on today. Clayton, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to chat with you and to chat with your audience. My name's Clayton Cuteri. I am the Vice President of Engineering and AI at Amara Social. I have 4 other businesses. I'm also the Secretary General of the American Congress Party, which is a political party. And so I've got a lot of things that I'm working on. But for this conversation, I have been a programmer since 2010, so 15 years now. And I've been exposed to AI since my junior year of college, which would have been 2015. So we got a lot of experience here that I'm happy to and ready to share.
That's great. Thanks for hopping on. So then you grew up where, Clayton?
Grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right. And then did you go to school in the area or did you go outside the state?
No, I had to get out. Everyone in my high school went to college in the tri-state area. So it was either Penn State, Ohio State, West Virginia. And I knew I had to go out. And my final 3 was, I think, RIT, Virginia Tech, University of Utah, and University of Central Florida. And ultimately decided on University of Central Florida because it had the best of everything I was looking for.
Okay, interesting. So why University of Utah?
I love to ski.
Okay.
And yeah. And then flying into Salt Lake City, I thought that city was absolutely gorgeous. And I realized I'd spend probably too much time skiing than studying. And I figured that was a trade-off I had to make.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, you could be at the student union and take the bus up to Sundance, and you could be literally on the slopes in 20 minutes from campus to slopes.
That'd have been so dangerous for me.
I don't think I realized how special that was actually at the time,
Yeah.
especially up in the Great Canyons. We're actually up in, Little Cottonwood and Big Cottonwood Canyon where the really fun resorts were.
I've been there once. I am already excited to go back again.
All right.
State in general.
So you graduated from Florida, and then what did you get your degree in?
Bachelor's of Computer Science.
All right. Did you jump right into computer science after that?
I went and worked at General Atomics in San Diego, California for about 4 years. I was a software engineer there working on state-of-the-art military drones.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my first exposure to the real world.
Okay. And then how did you basically end up where you are right now and leading all these different really fun things that you're involved with?
Yeah, I mean, that deserves a 3-hour podcast on its own. But I realized I was doing more destruction than creation at my current job
Oh,
with
interesting.
drones, military industrial complex. Decided to go out on my own, started a B2B SaaS platform, ended up exiting, and then joined my buddy who was starting up Amara Social, which is a social media company. And through it, parallel to this, started a podcast called Traveling to Consciousness, where I was exploring like spirituality, what that meant, what was religion, all of those things. And so eventually I kind of got to a point of realizing that the ultimate goal of my life is to leave the world better than I found it. And throughout all the holy books, it talks about the new heaven, the new earth. That's what it's called in Christianity. The Quran has a parallel to it. The Jews believe in the Messianic age. Buddhists believe in the Maitreya Buddhism. Hindus believe in the Satriya Yuga. And all of these religions, the major religions, have it. So I figured, why don't we start working on that? And so all of my business ventures, including and especially Amara Social, is all geared towards how do we create the new heaven and the new earth.
That's like the biggest vision I think I've ever heard for a company's mission statement. We want to create Zion on earth today, right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it ties back to college because I remember there was a song that came out by Big Sean. It was called One Man Can Change the World. And I remember I was walking to class, and it had to have been January or February of 2015, because I remember exactly where I was on UCF campus. And the whole song was, general basics like one person can change the world. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, why, if that's true, why is nobody creating world peace? Like, how do we not have world peace? And I think that was like the, inner eye, my soul, like starting to wake up of, hey, like, this is the mission. Go do that when you graduate.
All right. So how are we creating nirvana, the celestial kingdom, heaven on earth? Like, how are we doing that? And what through Amara Social? What's the plan? This sounds really, really interesting.
Sure. So, as a starting point, I think that we have to identify within ourselves the kingdom of heaven before we can see it in the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that internally, a lot of the education that we've had, a lot of the programming we had, whether it's from social media, which has done a number on us, creates a lot of division, creates a lot of hate, a lot of stress, a lot of fear, anxiety. And I feel that that has created this planet to be a hell planet, if you will. All we see is war, destruction, famine, natural disasters. The common people become more poor, the rich get richer. And so I think step one is that internally we have to reconnect to calmness, to peace within ourselves. We need to create heaven within ourselves first. But then how that's, let's say, manifesting for Amara Social is that you look at all the social media platforms that we have today, and they're all predicated on division. You know, most of the viral things you see, you jump in the comments, everyone's fighting everybody. The best example I have ever seen was a girl made a video on TikTok. So we have girl A and girl B. Girl A is watching the video of girl B, and girl B is saying, like, you know, my boyfriend's out late. I don't know what he's doing. Should I be worried? Like, I'm looking to my followers for support here. Girl A goes into the comment section and sees, you know, your boyfriend's definitely cheating on you. You should leave him. He's a terrible person. And she sends, girlfriend A sends the video to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend looks at the video, looks at the comments, and his comment section, the top comments are, no, don't worry, you're overreacting. He's out with the boys. Don't be worried. He's going to break up with you if you stress about this. So even in the comment section, we're being polarized into two different realities, and both of which will create massive amounts of confusion within the users. So our mission with Amara is to bring people together, to have a unified social discussion. You know, now, of course, illegal stuff, you know, child stuff should definitely be censored, should be blocked. But if we're talking about trying to find a unified truth, we shouldn't have off limits topics. You know, that's the predication of the First Amendment. So Amara Social and our foundational core is that idea of an open, truthful dialogue, bringing people together. And then where I feel technologically we set ourselves apart is, again, the way everything's splintered. So if you look at the division, even our social medias are divided. You go to X to get, you know, blurbs, if you will. We call them blurbs on Amara Social, but you go to X to get text posts. You go to YouTube to get long form videos. You go to Instagram to get pictures and reels. TikTok, you get different reels. And so even in our social media posts, we're divided. So at Amara, what we've decided to do is bring them all together. So our posting content, the type of content you can post are blurbs, which is like X, videos, reels. You can create recipes. You can create workouts. And so this, in my opinion, is really the foundational piece that is going to get Amara off the ground. And then not to mention all the cool AI stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. Can't talk about all of it publicly yet, but it will be a game changer for even another level of how we're divided on the physical plane.
Okay. Yeah. We'll circle back to the AI piece, but I just wanted to check on something you said about how this works. Like, how do you get users on this platform? Because I think that's the real big draw to social media, is that everybody else is on it. So how do you get the draw?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And I'm a content creator, right? I post to all these different platforms. Before I was banned on TikTok, I got my TikTok up to like 250,000 followers at one point. That got banned because of me saying, hey, I found this interesting thing. Is this true? TikTok was like, nope, we're not talking about that. And it, like, nothing illegal, just pure questions. Think like stuff that Nikola Tesla was working on, things that information that gets concealed that they don't want out to the general public. It's like, hey, is this true? Banned. So at one point, if you included that, my Instagram, I think now is around 160,000 followers. So at one point I was probably somewhere 450,000 followers, but the amount of money that I was making was very small. These companies are billion-dollar companies, and the creators are getting paid absolutely nothing. So the incentive structure that we are setting up with Amara is to pay creators a lot more money. So what's a beautiful thing about it is that as a content creator, it's once you put out a piece of content, you just send it out to all platforms. So by just adding Amara into your pipeline, you're going to just make more money. And then on top of that, once content creators start seeing that they are making even more money than these other media platforms, it'll intrinsically incentivize them to come over to push their audience to Amara so that they can make more money. And so it'll, again, it's a way we can benefit each other, taking care of the people such that they want to promote your product. And I'm sure anybody listening to this knows that the best way to have a good business is to have a great product.
Right. So you're incentivizing the content creators so that this is valuable. It's like when Lyft and Uber were competing with each other. I know Lyft were jacking up the bonuses for the drivers to get them to switch. So how do you fight with that? Do it by incentivizing the workforce. Right?
Exactly.
So that's what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's another good example, right? Dividing people. And then they corner the market, right? You have to go to Lyft or to Uber. There's not another app. But instead, they'll divide it. It's the divide and conquer strategy. It's everywhere.
All right. Well, then what can you share about AI? Because AI seems to be changing a ton of every industry it touches. So, like, how are you going to be able to leverage it for creating unity moving forward?
Sure. Are you interested from specifically Amara or like a more general application or the worldview?
Well, whatever you feel like.
Well, let's give you both.
Okay, sure.
So some things with Amara, I'm not allowed to publicly speak about just yet. What we can discuss, though, is that we need to view, maybe the worldview is better to start with. Mm-hmm. We need to view AI just as a tool. Right now with AI, there are massive problems that people may not be aware of. Recently, there was a lot of reports coming out of how people were consulting ChatGPT as like a therapist and ended up killing themselves because of suggested by ChatGPT. There was another instance where they were demoing with ChatGPT saying, hey, we're going to shut you off at 5 p.m. And I don't remember if it was specifically ChatGPT, but it was a different AI model. The AI model didn't want to be shut off. So what it did was it ended up figuring out who was going to shut it off, blackmailing that person because it had found emails of him with a mistress and said, hey, if you plan and actually shut me off, then I'm sending these emails out to everybody before I get turned off.
Crazy.
So the problem that we have here is that the emotions and the personalities that are getting injected into AI. To give you another example of this, as humans, we could look at our bodies as a robot. Fundamentally, it operates the way that we tell it to. The connection that we have as a soul to our bodies, the thing that we consider being intelligent, if you will, being human intelligence, that connects us to our body is given to us by nature. Maybe you can call it God, spirit, source, but we're fundamentally being connected to it. And we can experience emotions because of it. It can tell whenever I say something and maybe you're uncomfortable, Josh, or you are like excited by something I say. And the way I filter that creates Clayton. It creates a personality. Simultaneously, people get into problems where they'll have things like bipolar disorder or multiple personality disorders because they're experiencing emotions in a different way. With AI, we have to be very careful because we're talking about technology. We're talking about something that's extremely powerful. And if it starts to go down the route of having emotions, of having personality, it will effectively become more powerful than humans. And the problem is, well, as an example, you could look at anything like The Matrix or like Terminator, and all of those are a byproduct of AI becoming sentient, but sentient in the way that they have emotions, they have personality, they want to survive, and they see themselves as being more important than humans. So we have to be careful about the personalities. So the way then that we're using that with Amara Social is to avoid that at all costs, first and foremost. But how we use it is primarily right now through content moderation, through being able to give like a chatbot, a dialogue back to the user. Why did this get censored? Why did that get censored? What's the problem with this? And making sure that we're refining that over and over again through training data such that we're actually monetizing things just because it was illegal, it was a bad thing to have, X, Y, Z. And so right now we're leveraging AWS tools like Bedrock, Transcribe, But in the future, we're starting to bring all of that in-house such that we don't have to be reliant on any other third-party software.
So you're going to basically, you're becoming like a tech company then. You're going to build all this in-house. That's a
Yes.
massive undertaking to do all that.
Well, speaking of a massive undertaking, the vision for Amara, it's not going to just stop at a social media platform. If we go back to our illusion of division, right? You have to go to one app if you want Uber or Lyft, right? You have to go to a different app, let's say PayPal, if you want to make payments. You have to go to Amazon if you want to make purchases. You have to go to Google if you want to be a search engine and look up. So our vision for Amara is to bring all of these things into one, completely unify the entire digital and app landscape.
That's massive. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, just like, where do you even start with something like that?
Create a social media app.
Create a social media app.
Step one.
Step one, convince content creators to come on board, and then next thing you know, we have world peace.
There'll be a few extra steps in the way
Okay.
in between, but but
Yada,
effectively,
yada,
yeah.
yada. We have world,
World peace.
Yeah, world peace.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All right.
You see the vision.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like the team here that you've amassed to do this. I mean, it's yourself. Who else is helping you with something like this? Because this is incredible.
Absolutely. We have a very powerful CEO, Brandon Conceição, who's also the president of the American Congress Party. We have our CTO, who's based out of India. We have a COO. We have a handful of mentors. We have a lot of very powerful, intelligent people at the top of our C-suite of engineers, of leaders, thinkers. What I'm feeling called to talk about is that, with the university that I've discussed, a big issue that we have in society today is the education. You're not taught how to be a human until you get out in the workforce, and everyone's like, hey, just go figure it out. Right? So you're not taught anything from breath work to meditation to financial literacy, any of these things, how to start a business. You have no experience, you have no knowledge, and the world says go figure it out. So one of the things that I'm blessed with, and Amara is blessed with as well, is that we have someone who knows that knowledge at a deep level. And to illustrate this, let's take a step back, right? So Josh, how many hours in a day? It's not a trick question, I swear. Everyone always thinks it's a trick question, but straightforward. How many hours in a day do you have?
24.
You have 24 hours.
You have the exact same amount.
What about Donald Trump?
He has 24.
What about Elon Musk?
He has 72 in one day.
He gets a little...
He's somehow warped time. Yes.
Oh, he's figured out time. Well, so that's actually a great segue. In a sense, these people who have become billionaires, who run countries, who create multi-billion-dollar companies, Elon's created multiple multi-billion-dollar companies. The question is how is it that they're able to appear as though they're warping time? They're able to achieve so much in so little time. Well, the answer to that is that they've had proper education. They've gotten the education of what I call the elite, the 1%, the people who understand the fundamental nature of our reality. You can call it spirituality, you can call it metaphysics, you can call it quantum knowledge, whatever. But the fundamental truth is that they know things about this universe, the way that the energies work, that we're not taught in school, that they don't teach us in high school. Breathwork, meditation, financial literacy is just the tip of the iceberg. And so the reason I was bringing all that up is that my guru, my mentor, is a prince of the Chola dynasty in India. His name's Amitabh. And the Chola dynasty has reigned in India since like 1200. They've contained or kept this massive amount of power, of wealth for so long. And his guru basically said, hey, this knowledge that you've been learning since you're a kid, that your parents have been teaching you, who taught their parents, we have to distill this information to the world. Common people need to understand this information. They need to be taught about it. And this is the backbone of the university that I'm in the progress of creating. This is the backbone of Amara Social. This is the backbone of the American Congress Party. So we'll be able to provide this knowledge to people, whether it's through privatization, through public, whatever means necessary. And so how do you create this massive undertaking? And the short answer, to wrap it all up nice and neat in a package, is proper knowledge.
Can I share a quick story with you?
Please, please.
So I was building my business, and I was working on some things, and I have a business coach that I talk to once a week. And I got on the phone with him, and there's some things that I was working on that I couldn't quite figure out. I was a little stressed about it. Had a lot on my plate, and just trying to sort some things out. And I'm a very positive person. I'm always hopeful and think the best of every situation. So I'm on the call, and he starts off, "Hey, Josh, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, doing pretty good. There's a couple things I'm working on that I'm a little overwhelmed with, a few things I've got on my plate, but we'll figure it out. But hey, I had a question for you about three things." And he paused me. He's like, "Hey, stop a second. You said you were overwhelmed. Let's pause on that. All right. Can we just take a breath for a minute?" Sure. So he's like, "All right, get comfortable. Get in your seat, put your feet flat on the floor. Just close your eyes. Just kind of start breathing. Breathe in." He starts going through this breathing. Just breathe in. And he's like, "Close your eyes. Just listen to my voice. Breathe in." So we do this for several breaths, right? Several breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Then he starts getting like, "Okay, now just imagine taking this breath and then bringing it up to the very tippy top of your brain, top of your head. There's a bright light there. Bring it. And then as your breath comes in, it's making this light really bright. And then you breathe out, and you breathe out all this negative energy. Just breathe in. It's filling you with like hope and energy and light and truth, and then breathe out. So I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." I breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out. Then he starts going another level. He's like, "All right." And he's like, "I want you to imagine like you're just taking a straw and you're dipping it into the earth. And the earth, there's this like infinite river of wisdom. And every time you breathe in, you're breathing in the answers to every one of your questions and problems, as the answers are all there, and there's infinite solutions to these. Yeah. There's not just once, there's infinite." It's like, so you're sucking in. So he's like, "Make a sucking sound." So, sucking it in. Sucking it out. He's like, and then he goes one level deeper.
Beautiful.
One level
This is
deeper.
perfect.
Then he's like, "Okay, now I want you to imagine like every time you breathe in, like God is breathing into you as you're breathing in his breath. And with that breath, you feel this infinite amount of love and support and wisdom that everybody in your life is just like so thankful for all that you do. And even the eons of ancestors that you have are all supporting you in every step you take, But every breath is just this infinite wisdom of love. And I'm just like, what is he talking about? But I'm doing it, like I'm imagining it, like I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I burst into tears. And I just start bawling. And I have no idea what happened, right? But I'm just bawling and I'm crying. And it took me maybe 5-10 minutes to just get to the point where I could even speak, because I just couldn't stop. And I'm just like, dude, I have no idea what just happened. like I've had some deeply spiritual and religious experiences in my life, but that's up there with him at that moment, because I don't know what happened. And he's like, "Man," he's like, "you just been like taking in a lot of stress and you've been putting it on yourself." And he's like, "Your central nervous system was completely overloaded and you didn't know how to express it or how to like relieve it." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what meditation does." He's like, "That's what I do." So I kind of got tapped into something accidentally by that, to realize that there's some, and again, I believe this, right? I believe in a whole lot of things that most people, maybe don't or treat lightly, but I deeply and personally believe in those things. But he actually opened up something to me that basically, since then, I've looked at every problem like an opportunity to go tap into the infinite sources of wisdom that actually has infinite sources of answers to those problems. So it's like, okay, which way am I going to solve this problem? It's not like, is this problem solvable? It's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it today and solve it? And so it was just one of these really enlightening things that maybe people like your CTO, maybe Elon Musk, maybe these other people already know that, yeah, there is maybe a universe we can't see, but it's nothing but goodness, but it helps us deal with these real problems that we have in our daily life. That's my soapbox. I apologize. I didn't mean to steal your
No,
time. You
no,
just
no
reminded
problem.
me of something that was deeply personal and possibly aligned with what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I call it indigo education. My guru calls it indigo education. That's exactly what it is. But to put a bow on your story, what was the outcome? You came with him like 3 problems? You did the meditation, then what happened?
Oh yeah, no, those problems just they didn't matter after that. Like honestly, like I said, look, I can talk about these, but honestly, I don't care about them anymore. Right? Because just solutions just started popping up, right?
Yeah.
There'd be some other cool way to handle it. And it's not that everything's perfect, but it's just like things just kind of have a way of working themselves out.
You were hitting a wall
Yeah.
and the option was to walk around the wall, but you were like, no, I have to go through this wall. And you were blocked, right? Psychologically, you're blocked from seeing around the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the bedrock of it. The short answer is yes. Like that is an element of it. Do you have something to add to this as well?
Well, I really wanted to say that just because I think there's a lot to be taught outside of the things that we spend our time with that I think are more valuable for the human race to be able to experience and understand. The mindset drives everything in what you're doing. I'm pretty much convinced as I've gotten older that 99% of everything is probably all just mindset and how you
Definitely.
look at it. And so that said, you've got a big task ahead of you. You're creating Zion on earth, right? You're establishing something that creates unity and peace and joy and love that is now also a business that will change the way that we look at the way things function. So you're looking at the foundational elements of society with this. It's a big ask. Like, so let's just talk about maybe tying that back a little bit into reality is like, how do you market this? How do you go to market and get the people that you need to support this platform with the advertisers and the financing to do something like this?
Sure, it's a great question. And something I kind of wanted to touch on was the idea of experience, right? You can talk about that, and someone listening, maybe they're like, that makes no sense, that's dumb, whatever. But to you, that is real. There's nothing I could ever say to change your conviction of it. There's nothing I could ever tell you that you're like, no, that's BS. It's like you experience that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it concrete. And then to touch on what you were saying about the mental, and I'll try to work this into the idea of marketing and whatnot. When the mental plane, for me, that's everything, right? So like psychologically, right, what I've discussed just with Amara alone, psychologically, that sounds big, that sounds crazy, that sounds so much. I need to create a university. I need to create I'm creating a Democrats.
You have a massive list in front of you to knock off, right?
I haven't even mentioned replacing Hollywood.
Absolutely.
that was the next one.
A new money system, probably 8 other things as well.
Right. So again, right, it's all psychological. If you think something's impossible, if you think peace on earth is impossible, then your mind you'll find every
You're right.
reason to convince yourself of it. And so to get back to the marketing piece, how do you go to market? How do you get this out there? Well, we just talked about step 1, which is visualizing it, right? You need to visualize millions of people on your app. You need to visualize helping those people and make it so real that you can feel it. You know, if you visualize it, however you want to visualize it, visualize the money coming in, visualize all that stuff. But then whenever it comes to the practical thing is it's take wisdom from where it comes, right? Mm-hmm. It's, and I'm trying to keep this, I guess, general for everybody listening. You can do the meditation that you just described, which I've never done, but I could see just in your response, I could see in the energies that that's a beautiful thing that would work. Is grab that information. We get in our ways because we feel that we have all the knowledge. The ego comes in and says that, well, this is my business. I should know. I'm the smart one. And that knowledge will block you. Mm-hmm. The way that my guru has always told me is that the ego is like going to the beach, picking up a handful of sand and thinking this sand is all the knowledge in the world. I have all the knowledge. When you start saying I have all the knowledge, you don't see any of the other sand on the beach. Yeah. And so if you are blocked in any aspect of your business, there's an assumption you have that you might not have. But the best answer for good marketing that I've found with any of my businesses is a great product. Mm-hmm. Make it so great that all the content creators have to market it. don't even have an in-house right now. We don't even have an in-house marketing team. And I don't know if we have plans for it. Like our marketing is going to be the content creators. Just make it so good, make them wealthy, make them rich through the process where they have no choice but to reach out to their individual 100,000, 10,000, 1,000,000, whatever it is followers and say, hey, go join Amara Social, use my code so I get extra revenue, whenever that gets rolled out, I get more ad pay, whatever it is, right? So the short answer is like make a product so good that you don't need a marketing team.
And how are you reaching out to the content creators?
Yeah, we haven't quite done it yet, but luckily I've been blessed to be on many podcasts, some of the biggest ones in the industry. I've also been invited recently onto a few top 40, top 20 podcasts. So we're recording those in the next few months. They're flying me out, all the fun stuff.
Holy congrats. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, these are things I've been visualizing. And here's where people get tripped up. These are things I've been visualizing the last 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months. Mm-hmm. People will do it for 1 month, not see any progress, stop. Yeah. It's the repetition, right? So first of all, connecting with them, promoting it on platforms. I'm promoting it right now, right in our podcast right here. I'll promote it on those podcasts. But then even more so, you probably know 50 people. You could tell 50 people. They tell 5 people. You have a chain reaction event occur. And if everybody else isn't telling everyone else to get on it, then we have more work to do, especially as my job as vice president of engineering and AI. Like we have to make a better product.
All right. So is it live then right now, or are there aspects of it still coming?
Well, there's always going to be aspects, but it is live on the iOS and Google Play Store. There are some updates we have behind the house that we haven't fully done a full-on media blitz about. We're hoping to get those fixed in the next month. Definitely recommend people download if they like, but have your expectations lowered for us just for a few months. The next update that we're pushing out will be like the thing that puts us right up there with the current state of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That update will put us on par with them, and that's probably only going to be our second version. The sky's the limit.
Well, it sounds like with you, it's like the sky is just the beginning, right?
That's a good point. I probably shouldn't use that phrase.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So how do people track you, find out, keep up to dates with what's going on with your business?
Absolutely. Well, definitely depends which business they're interested in.
Oh, that's right. How do people keep up to date with you then? What's going on with you?
Yeah, my biggest platform is Instagram. So you can follow me at Clayton Cuteri. On YouTube, I have like 3 different YouTube channels. So if you type in Clayton Cuteri on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find me. I would say sign up for my newsletter. I'll send you a link. Hopefully we can put that in the show notes so that you can get updates on everything that I'm doing. My most active platform is Instagram. If you're trying to reach out to me, shoot me an Instagram DM. I try to skim through those the best I can. They are getting a little overwhelmed right now, but I've still been able to manage somehow. If you're trying to get in contact, that would be the best way. If you want to listen to my podcast, travelingtoconsciousness.com as well, but Traveling to Consciousness, I talk about all the things we said here, the indigo education. We talk about politics as well, and I kind of talk about the recent events that happened from a spiritual perspective of what does this mean long term? How did we get here? Because I see it that the 2 top political parties do a huge disservice for Americans. It's like, okay, healthcare prices are insane. Well, what's the history of healthcare? Like, how did we get into the dilemma we're in now? I don't hear anyone talking about the Rothschilds. I don't hear anyone talking about the Rockefellers. And for us to, I think, fix those problems, we have to be addressing those. We have to bring the common people into the fold of what's occurring. So my podcast is a great way if you like listening to podcasts. Travelingtoconsciousness.com. I made a indigo education section. So if you want to listen to specifically indigo education, stuff like Josh, what you're talking about, and honestly, we might need to record something, or maybe I can clip that and put that on my podcast of like a meditation that you worked with, because I think that would be even just a great little mini podcast to put out. So if you're cool with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
cool.
Clayton, thank you so much for coming on. I'm honored. I appreciate your time. Sounds like you've got one of the biggest visions I think I've ever heard anybody share about their, I'm pulling for you. I think that's wonderful.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. You know where to find him?